Ground ball into right field. That's a base hit. Scoring is Durazio. Another run across, out at first. The second run looked like it scored before Marcini was caught at first.
All right, baseball fans. The last 24 hours in baseball have been absolutely wild. First, Team USA barely survived the group stage of the WBC. At one point, it looked like the US national baseball team might actually get eliminated for the knockout stage. But after a dramatic set of results, they're moving on, and now they're headed to the quarterfinals. That's only part of the story, because while the WBC is delivering chaos internationally, Major League Baseball is heading into a season where some teams are facing enormous pressure. Teams with huge payrolls, teams with championship expectations, teams where anything short of a World Series could be considered a failure. To make things even more interesting, a new historic ranking just dropped that's going to spark a lot of debate, because according to a recent analysis of the last 25 years in Major League Baseball, the LA Dodgers have overtaken the New York Yankees as the most successful franchise of the modern era. Yes, you heard that right. So today we're going to break down everything. How Team USA survived the WBC group stage, why the pressure is building for several MLB teams headed into 2026, and whether the Dodgers really deserve to be ranked ahead of the Yankees over the past quarter century. Let's get into it. Let's start with the WBC, because the United States was suddenly in a very uncomfortable situation. And after an upset loss to Italy earlier in pool play, the Americans were staring at a scenario where they might not advance. And that would have been shocking considering the talent on this roster. But in the end, the US got the help they needed. Italy went out and defeated Mexico, and that result completely changed the standings in Pool B. Because thanks to that outcome, Team USA officially advanced to the quarterfinals with a 3-1 record, finishing second in the group. That means the United States is now moving on in the tournament, and their next opponent, Canada. What makes this fascinating is how quickly things change. Early in pool play, Team USA looked dominant. They won their first 3 games. They were outscoring opponents with ease. Everything looked exactly like you expect from a roster loaded with major league stars. Then came the upset. Italy shot the Americans with an 8-6 victory that suddenly put the US in danger of missing the knockout stage. When that happened, the entire tournament picture shifted. Instead of controlling their own destiny, Team USA suddenly needed help. Ironically, the same team that caused the problem also helped solve it. Italy didn't just beat Mexico, they dominated them. In fact, Italy defeated Mexico 9-1, securing the top spot in Pool B while pushing the United States into second place. Just like that, the Americans were through. It wasn't the path fans expected, but in tournaments like the WBC, survival is what matters. Now the focus shifts into the next stage of the tournament, quarterfinals. In this round, the format changes. Pool play is over, now it's single elimination, which means one loss and your tournament is finished. For Team USA, the next game will be against Canada. Historically, the United States has had success in this matchup. International tournaments are unpredictable, and as we already see in this tournament, nothing can be taken for granted. WBC has grown a lot in importance over the years. 20 national teams are competing in the 2026 edition of the tournament. Games played across several international locations before the knockout stage determines the champion. And as the tournament moves into elimination rounds, the pressure only increases. Every pitch matters, every mistake matters, and one hot team can change the entire tournament. Now, while international baseball is grabbing headlines, League Baseball is preparing for the upcoming season. Some teams are entering 2026 with enormous expectations. We're talking about teams that are expected to win right now. Not rebuild, not develop prospects, win championships. When analysts talk about stress index for MLB teams, they're really describing as pressure. Which franchises have the most to prove? Which teams are under the most scrutiny? And which organizations will face major criticism if they fall short? There's a category of teams where simply making the playoffs isn't enough anymore. These are teams with big payrolls and talented rosters. Teams like the New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox, Philadelphia Phillies, and Seattle Mariners. For these organizations, expectations are sky high. If they don't contend for a title, the season could be viewed as a disappointment. Pressure changes everything in sports. Players feel it, managers feel it, front offices feel it. When expectations are high, every losing streak becomes a headline. Every mistake becomes a talking point. Every playoff exit becomes a massive story. That's why the teams entering this season with the most pressure are going to be fascinating to watch. Now let's talk about the debate that's about to explode among baseball fans, because a recent analysis ranking MLB franchises over the last 25 years came to a surprising conclusion. Los Angeles Dodgers were ranked as the most successful team of the modern era. Yes, ahead of the New York Yankees. For decades, the Yankees have been viewed as the gold standard of baseball success. But when analysts look at the last quarter century, the Dodgers came out on top. The Dodgers have been incredibly consistent. They've been one of the deepest organizations in baseball. They dominated their division, they developed elite players, and they've remained competitive year after year. That kind of sustained success is incredibly difficult in modern baseball. Of course, Yankee fans are going to disagree with this ranking, because historically, no franchise in baseball has had the same level of success. The Yankees have championships, iconic players, and global recognition, but the argument here focuses specifically on the modern era. And over the last 25 years, the Dodgers' consistency has been remarkable. So when you look at everything happening in baseball right now, it's a fascinating moment for the sport. Team USA has survived a dramatic scare in the WBC and is heading to the knockout stage. Major League Baseball teams are preparing for a season filled with pressure and expectation, and debates about the most successful franchise of the modern era are heating up. Baseball is entering one of the most exciting stretches of the year. And if the World Baseball Classic has already taught us anything, it's that absolutely anything can happen. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Team USA can win a WBC? Which team is under the most pressure this season? And do you agree that the Dodgers have been the best franchise of the last 25 years? Or should that title still belong to the Yankees? Let me know in the comments. And if you like baseball content like this, subscribe to the channel because we're covering everything happening in the baseball world all season long. See you guys on the next one.